Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling. We have four-time All-American. Hard to believe he graduated in 2012, but Zach Sanders is on the Hawkeye Wrestling Club Showdown Open card on November 1. How are you, Zach?
I'm doing well.
You
Thank you.
excited about this?
I'm very excited. Yeah, when they called me and asked me, I was like, wow. I instantly said, yeah, it was like a good opportunity just to compete and kind of honestly just a showdown. So it's like, a little more, it's kind of like a dual meet. It's like you don't get those chances all the time, especially at the senior level. So got to make the most of it and jump on it.
As you said, you graduated in 2012. How have you stayed hungry this whole time?
I just like to wrestle, to be honest. It's I guess it's my passion. I love to compete and work on new skills and just feel things out. And I mean, it's kind of just, I don't know. It's not many people either probably keep wrestling when they haven't even made a team yet. I'm 32, but I'm just trying to enjoy each day as it is, and it's what I like to do. So
Is it something you'll keep doing? Like if they invite you to one-off events, will you just keep doing it as long as possible?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I'm just gonna just like the last couple of years, especially. I just said I'm just gonna do 1 year at a time and see how I feel, and if I'm still enjoying it, I don't know why not. Obviously not everything's fun about it. Sometimes watching your weight's not fun. Sometimes losing's not fun. It's never fun. But like at the end of the day, it's just there's something about a make believe war that you get to go into and knowing that you're gonna live, but you get to play it out like, it's live or die and it's a fight for your life, lay your life on the line for what you believe is right. It's almost like playing a video game in that sense where you can go in and it's battle, but it's like a physical video game in that sense.
Have you always viewed it that way?
Uh I don't know. Probably the last 5 years or so, for sure. But before that, I think I didn't really know. I was just it's what I like to do, but I've never really thought of that analogy, I guess, before. But other than that, it's I think that's what most wrestlers like. They like the challenge and they like the physical nature of wrestling, and they don't have to worry about if it was a good pass or a bad pass if they're playing football. They don't have to worry about if that guy made that block, or it's like you can just worry about yourself, and it's kind of nice in that sense that you don't have to obviously you need partners and stuff, but training partners, but at the same time it's like I can go and work in skills and I can just like watch something and visualize it in my head and almost feel like I'm getting better at it just by doing that.
Is wrestling what you've done full time the last 8 years? Have you supplemented it with other things? What's your work life like?
Obviously I'm at the University of Minnesota, so um what's nice is a lot of things go hand in hand. So I'm still coaching the college guys and trying to develop them, and even the senior guys I try to help them as much as I can too. But at the same time I'm training, I'm practicing, I can feel what they need to get better at, and I can kind of communicate that with them, and just life experiences I've had in wrestling, and I can kind of try to shortcut them a little bit and things that I would have done differently at their age, or um things that I'm still learning today. I mean, it never ends really. Like I'm always learning new little things, and just it's not even maybe technical stuff. Maybe sometimes it's how I approach things, and if I can make that adjustment in my head and approach it a little different, it will help my performance. It'll help me be a better coach. It'll help me whatever in other areas of my life. So it like a lot of things though I do are go hand in hand, whether I'm coaching or wrestling. It's the same place and it's the same people I'm around for both of those things. So I'm always trying to up my game and up the game of the people around me.
How are you preparing for this match? Of course, you're a former Gopher going against a current Hawkeye. How are you preparing for Spencer Lee?
Um, I'm lately I haven't been doing too much different yet. I haven't. I mean, I've scouted him out for our college guys before, so it's like I kind of know how he wrestles and whatnot. Maybe I'll take a little closer look again. I'll rewatch some of his matches here in a little while, but at the same time, I'm just trying to make sure I feel good. Kind of going backwards from the event and kind of how I want to peak for it physically and then mentally, that stuff's, no matter who I'm wrestling, that stuff's always the same. I'm just trying to feel good when I go out there and have a game plan. So, Spencer Lee, he's obviously really good, and I have to be ready, and I'm just going to do the best I can to be ready myself and not maybe worry about him as much. That's kind of like the approach I really like to take.
How much does the financial component factor into being part of this event?
It does definitely. I mean, I would have probably done it either way because that's what I like to do. But it was nice that they were willing to give a little money too, and it kind of adds to it a little bit. It makes it almost more official in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like pro wrestling, which is really cool. And wrestlers for years and years and years have been doing stuff like this probably for like little or almost no money. And now that they're starting to like throw a little like these like dual meets since COVID started, these dual meets that they've had are pretty cool events. They're kind of hyped up and people are watching, like the whole country's watching just, one event at a time because that's all there is. And it's really cool, I think. And it's almost just like pro wrestling.
Minnesota, Iowa, they are big-time rivals. It stems back to Jay Robinson being at Iowa, going to Minnesota. Tell us about the Iowa versus Minnesota rivalry and what it's like to be part of that.
It's really cool, honestly. Like I always really enjoyed wrestling at Carver Hawkeye. Their fans, sometimes they're brutal, but that's what makes sports fun. At the same time, it's like I definitely respect them. The brands, all of Iowa, guys around my weight. Like Matt McDonough, we battled a lot in college, but every now and then I'll talk to Matt, and he's a good guy. I kind of like him. So it's not really like, obviously when you're out there on the mat, you're kind of enemies. It's like people are going to get emotional. They're going to take things personal, but then it's almost like at the end of the day, you're both wrestlers and you've been through the same exact thing. So it's not like I said before, it's almost like a make-believe battle. You know what I mean? Like it could be like USA versus another country and we're going to war, but then it's not, because at the end of the day, when we walk out of the arena, it's like you almost like tip your cap to the guy. You know what I mean? In that sense. So I think there's a respect there, but at the same time, it's like, man, there's nothing better than beating a Hawkeye if you're a Gopher.
You said you kind of like him. You don't full-fledged like Matt McDonough?
I like him. It was just I didn't want to sound too nice there.
What was it like?
I don't want to discredit the rivalry any, so we got to keep it. I kind of like him.
What was it like wrestling him, though? He was a tough dude.
Yeah, he's really tough, he's really good at finishing leg attacks. And, even I always thought, I'm like, gosh, like this guy's position isn't that good. Like he takes these long drawn out shots, but he's just, I don't know, whatever it was, man, his length, I couldn't get past it a lot of times. And again, like I let him in on my legs a few too many times. And I'll say his basic defense was better than my basic defense when I got to his legs, and his finishing his shots, his ratio was a lot better than mine. So just those basic things, other than that, it's like, I feel like I maybe had skills that he didn't, but he definitely had skills that I didn't. So
we'll go in your house there. We'll talk about a Gopher, Ethan Lezak. Could he ride you?
Yeah, he definitely could. But I like to think that I could get away from him more than most people could, especially when he got older. He was tough on top, and there's a lot of days I didn't even want to wrestle folk style, but I'm like, I got to challenge him. Just if I don't, who is, And I had a couple little tricks. I think I had a couple tricks that I didn't let out of the bag too much, just so that competition wouldn't find out. But I'm sure they kind of figured it out a little bit too. But I had a couple concepts that I would go with, and but most of the time he would ride me for sure. Some days I could get away a little easier than others, though.
Of course, Minnesota has a good heavyweight tradition. You guys got a nice little tradition at the lightest weight class. You, Leroy Vega, Ethan Lezak. You're proud of being part of the lightweight legacy there?
Oh, for sure. We can't forget Jason Ness, Bobby Lowe,
Shoot.
a bunch of guys. Yeah, there's David Thorne. Yeah, we've had a good run too. It was funny is like the year after I graduated, I was doing Jay had me do a little like research, right, for the team. And it was like, how many All-Americans have we had at each weight the last 15 years? And at that point, 125 was winning, just so you know. But since then, heavyweights passed us. But hopefully we can build up some of these young guys and, get some more All-Americans at 125. But, it's really cool. Those are the guys that I kind of grew up watching. And, like how Leroy Vega wrestled and how Bobby Lowe wrestled, they were really intense. And it made me want to, carry on that tradition a little bit. And, yeah, I definitely take a lot of pride in that. So it's really special to me.
How loud did it get when Dylan Ness pulled out a great win in at the home arena?
Oh, man. Depends which match it was, but I remember the Penn State one. That was the loudest I've ever heard. That was the loudest I've ever heard the Minnesota crowd ever. And it was in the sports pavilion. Well, now the Maturi Pavilion. And it was, it was nuts, man. It was, I don't even know if I know how loud it was because I was kind of in the middle of it. And I was just so pumped up. Like, I remember sitting down and we were wearing suits and stuff, us coaches trying to look like professionals, obviously. And I remember sitting back and like, I could feel like my whole like shirt was wet in the back just from sweating, watching in a intense dual meet like that. And up until that point, it was crazy. I don't remember the stat, but like it was looking like Penn State was going to beat us. And they hadn't beaten us in a long, long time in a dual meet. It was pretty crazy how long it was. Like even in 14 and I think 2015 or something was the first time they beat us in a dual meet in like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years or something crazy like that, which they've had some pretty good teams. Like obviously they won the NCAA tournament 2012, my senior year. We beat them 7 out of 10 matches that year in the dual meet. So, and then the next years, the next year we got third at nationals and the next year we got second. So we went second, third, second, and like Penn State won that NCAA tournament each year, but we beat them in the dual each year. So I kind of rabbit holed there, but yeah, Dylan was very electric and got the crowd going and the other team had to respect him just because he was so dangerous. It was awesome.